It's a new beginning. Professional handball players from multiple countries, cities, and states far and wide have transitioned from outdoor handball to the indoor game with just one hope: to be named as an Elite 8 and eventual Players Champion. It all starts here, the season opener in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend. Join us for the kickoff of Season 8 as the World Players of Handball Foundation, Junior WPH, members and sponsors bring you Race for 8 Stop Number 1. It's the Ron Cook Memorial Peachtree Open with WPH Live TV on ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app.
Welcome to Season 8 of the WPH Race for 8. My name is Dave Vincent. This is stop number 1 alongside David Fink as we are here in Atlanta, Georgia. Recreation Atlanta, name of the club, doing a great job setting the table for all of these fine pros to come out, play, perform on the show court here on ESPN3, and the WPH film crew capturing it for us, led by Chris Garrad. I want to thank everybody for helping out, donating, supporting, and getting this fine facility ready for the pros this weekend. Dave, you're one of those pros. You're going to be on the court next, and you have some great insight about Marcos Chavez, who looks like he will be serving first against Killian Carroll, our world champion.
Marcos Chavez, 44 years old, the current senior race for 8 players champion, took out Peter Function yesterday, who's, as you know, Dave, part of that next gen. Just 23 years old is Peter Function, and Marcos Chavez nearly twice his age, and came into that match as the invited 8 player, but really the underdog after losing to Peter 25-2 when they played 11 months ago. He completely turned the tables yesterday on Peter, did what he does. He frustrated him, slowed the game down, and won that match very easily. And now he'll be taking on the current 3-time defending players champion, also the 3-time defending national champion and world champion, Killian Carroll. These guys played here in the round of 8 last year in Atlanta, where it was Marcos taking out Vic Perez to get to this matchup.
But he didn't fare well against Killian in that first round last year here.
True.
He said he's looking to do a lot better. He said he's been really training for this. But, you know, when you're going up against Killian, you have to do more than train. You have to eat right, and you have to be about 20 years younger. But if anybody were to do it, it'd be Marcos. Let's see which Marcos Chavez shows up today. Dave, there's a lot of gamesmanship from Marcos, and Killian doesn't play that game.
Marcos
He's in there
Chavez
just as a stealth
from
machine.
Los Angeles, representing the LAAC, will be serving first. Receiving serve will be Killian Carroll from Boston.
That was our announcement from referee Pete Papadimitrios. These guys are going to shake hands possibly here. Marco's looking for a headband.
This is all part of trying to break up the stealth machine.
Yeah, this is part of that gamesmanship I was talking about. Marcos will find ways to stall and get into the head of Killian, but Killian's prepared for this. He told me one time that he felt that Marcos was very similar to playing Emmett Peixotte, where there's just things that are brought up that he's never seen before.
Vic and John Wayne. We're playing best of 3 games to 15, win by 2. Good luck, gentlemen. 0 serve 0.
And here it is. You heard what the format was.
Point.
Marcos with 3 offensive opportunities there, and he wins it on a Killian Carroll error.
1-0.
That ball ate up Killian on the back wall.
Don't be surprised to see Killian a little bit rusty here, Dave. He's only been on the court 4 times since the World Championships. That was about August 19th, so about 6 weeks.
Point.
Has not played any matches up until yesterday's round of 16 match. So there's going to be some rust there, and I saw it yesterday in his opening round.
I did too.
Side out.
Now that's a ball I think Marcos should get, but he needs to get warmed up. Marcos is the type of player that plays his best after 6 matches.
0-3.
This is only his second.
Point.
Interesting, Dave. All 8 of the Elite 8 won yesterday, going 8-0. And this was one event where you really thought you're going to see at least 2 of the qualifiers coming in and win, particularly with Martin Mulkerns, the world finalist, coming in here. But
Point.
it was a clean sweep for the invited 8. We did see some great young talent on display, though, yesterday.
2, 3.
Well, a couple of your highlighted
Short.
next-gen players actually did
Second
well,
serve.
led by Max Langmack, who played incredible. And, I mean, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people here that are fans of his. And Sam Esser,
Side out.
who was remarkable as well.
They
3,
made a lot
2.
of fans yesterday, and they showed that
Short.
the game's in good hands.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are skeptical,
serve.
and every generation always seems to be like that. But you see Max and Esser, and you're saying this is pretty tough for these guys to beat.
As well as Juan Canales, who
Yeah,
made an amazing comeback yesterday. Lauren Collada, who's still just in his mid-20s, nearly took down Emmett Pashok yesterday. And according to Emmett, would have done so had he not developed those cramps in his left leg.
We're warming up.
Yeah, what's interesting is thinking about Juan Canales. He was down 6-18 and came back and won that.
Amazing.
Second serve.
It's not easy.
That's the biggest race freight qualifier comeback we've ever seen. You remember, that's an amazing shot
Side
from
out.
Killian. You remember on the senior race, it was Waddy Dog coming back against Armijo from a
2,
similar deficit,
3.
21-3, I believe.
Right. Well, 22-11 at one point as well. So 6-18 and 22-11.
Wow.
Going to 25. Back here, though, we're resuming play. Killian just quietly came right back in there, and now he has 2 points.
And Dave,
Side
I
out.
contend that coming back from 22-11 is more difficult than 18-5, because now you've got less margin for error.
Less side outs,
3,
less
2.
opportunities to serve.
Yeah.
Short.
At least with 18, you can say, well, I might get 5 to 10 more
Second
chances
serve.
to serve.
Yeah.
You never know. But you get to 20, you're starting to narrow it down. Best 2 out of 3 to 15 here. We're not playing 1 games to 25 in this round. This is the quarterfinals. Get the win by 2. Wow, that was a bad bounce, and Killian
point.
decided to take it.
Neither guy too sharp
4,
thus far.
2.
But Marco's with the lead, so he's not going to complain about that.
Point.
First time these guys played, Dave, was in Tucson, round of 16, 2016. 15-0, Killian and Marcos never served in that first game. So Marcos is
5, 2.
improving with age, is what I'm saying. Wait till
Short.
he's 50.
Second serve.
Wow.
Point.
It's a nice shot there from Chavez, who now is at 6-2.
6, 2.
Sat and watched a baseball game last night with Marcos
Point.
as the Dodgers behind Clayton Kershaw did so well in that opening of their playoff matchup against the Atlanta Braves.
7,
Here
2.
we are in Atlanta, so it's tough to sit next to a guy that's rooting for the Dodgers and his whole entourage. Meanwhile, you're in Atlanta in a establishment that clearly supports the Braves.
Well, Marcos is looking like Clayton Kershaw right now.
Throwing a 2-hitter. Just waiting for Killian to make a mistake.
Side out.
But we've seen these big leads, and Killian just seems to evaporate them. Here's a replay
2,
of that little
7.
flip from Killian, which I didn't know he even had that shot. This one, though, we've seen that a few times. We're back into it.
Killian looking
Backswing,
up
that's
for
fine.
an error there.
Play it over. Play it over.
We'll just see what Marcos does here. He has so much respect for Killian that he doesn't pull much of that But here he goes now where he comes back and starts to talk a little bit about it.
I agree with Marcos here.
Two 7.
Smart.
Side out.
That was pretty methodical there. He actually lined that ball up with his left punch fist and just try to control it down the right. The previous fist that he hit, he overhit it. That time he controlled it.
Point.
People say that you can't control a fist shot, but you actually can. You just have to take your time.
8-2.
Marcos is just more than halfway to taking this first game.
Side out.
Can't make mistakes like that, though.
2-8. Short. Second serve. Point.
That's vintage Killian Carroll. That's the Killian Carroll we saw making those outrageous comebacks in Minnesota to win the World Championship. Shots like this.
Point.
And Dave, while we were away, it was a quick first strike kill from Killian off of a nice serve in the deep left. Gets another point.
Need it.
Killian trailed Robbie McCarthy 13-0 in that first game at the World Championships. Lost that game, came back and won the match. Trailed Martin Mulkern's 13-0 and came back and won that game in the finals of the World Championships.
Four, 8. Thank you. Point.
Marcos calls a double bounce on himself. I'm not so sure. He did not get that.
5-8. Point.
4 quick points for Killian thus far in this inning.
6-8. Point.
And there's that amazing serve. Killian Carroll leading the tour last year with 2.4 aces per
7,
game
8.
to 15.
This should be a put away. Marcos missed that shot.
Side out.
This is a
8-7.
interesting game here so far. Marcos had the lead pretty much, I think, since the beginning. I don't recall if Killian has
Short.
taken that lead at all.
Check the ball, please. Second serve.
Both these guys, no timeouts called here. It's been not a vicious pace, but they've had long rallies.
Hold it over. Eight, 7. Side out.
Marcos could have played that one off the back wall, but let that ball play him.
Seven, 8. Side out.
Marcos not giving Killian a lot of room on that kill shot attempt.
8, 7. Point.
6th error in this first game for Killian.
9, 7.
Very unorthodox, really.
Side out.
Well, believe it or not, Dave, Killian is known to make errors.
7, 9.
Just so happens he makes a lot more great shots.
Short.
He's also known to make 7 points in 45 seconds.
Second serve.
So a lot of this back and forth could just put a, he can just put a halt
Point.
on it quickly. Marcos just got buckled there.
We call that the power reverse on tour.
Eight, 9.
Killian's still looking for his first lead in this match. He's now tied it.
9, 9. Short. Second serve.
Wow.
Point. Ten, 9. Side out.
It's a good shot there from Marcos, and he needed to stop the flood that was happening right there. Dave, you're in this event as well. I believe you're the 4th seed. Is that right?
Yeah.
You've played both of these guys. Yesterday, we were able to sit down and talk to you. Kara Mack was, certainly, and talking about the strengths of Killian Carroll. This is what you had to say yesterday. Let's watch you.
We're talking about the shots. Give me Killian's best.
Killian's got an amazing serve. Killian starts so low to the ground, he makes contact with the ball just a couple inches off the ground, and he'll hit a serve to the left or right that hits the front wall just 3 or 4 inches high, making it virtually impossible for a returner to play defense or even to return the ball. If he hits one of his best serves, you're probably not going to get it back, and if you do, it's going to be an easy offensive opportunity for him.
Well, we've been seeing that here with this little run that he's had. It's been really set up from that serve. Now, if he doesn't get a ace on that serve, that first strike is so important to him. And then if he doesn't get the first strike, his rally game is amazing because he can get whatever you hit. So he becomes so dangerous on so many different levels.
So as soon as the point starts, he's dangerous.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's got everything is what I'm saying.
Oh.
There's a lot of players that will go out there and just throw the ball in, but they don't have that first strike. He's got the first strike. He's got the good serve. He's got the rally game.
Resuming play.
His only weakness is that he hasn't played
9,
the sport
10.
a lot since the World Championships. Just taking a lot of time off from the sport, which I think was well needed because it's been a huge pace for him.
Side out.
Marcos wants that one back.
10, 9.
Killian has really located
Point.
that power reverse to the left, and Marcos does not have an answer for it. He's been aced 3 times on that serve, and the other well-executed power reverses have been setups for Killian.
11, 9.
And Killian's going to sneak one to the right here eventually, and that's going to be tough for Marcos to catch up to.
Point.
It's a very difficult shot. Killian executes it. Third left-hand kill of this game.
12-9.
I love that shot from Marcos. It's
Side
so
out.
perfect. That's a punch fist.
You don't see too many back-to-back fist shots on the tour.
This is so great. This is
was
like
3 fists in a row.
That's like an instructional video shot. That ball clipping that sidewall deep. Killian can't do anything with it. 9-12 is the score. Going to 15, win by 2. This is the first match of the day here on ESPN 3. World Players of Handball giving you the race for 8. This is the season opener of season number 8.
49th event overall since the inception of the tour in 2011.
No contact there.
And that could have been unavoidable.
Point.
Marcos inside, outs that ball down the right wall.
10-12.
Getting double digits off of Killian is pretty amazing. Marcos has played very solid here in game number 1.
Now there's some real shenanigans going on here.
10-12.
Marcos gets an extra 30 seconds of breath.
Point.
It's been about 3 good shots in a row now, 4 shots in a row for Marcos.
He's playing extremely well here.
11-12.
I like that shot.
I don't.
I love it.
Wow.
Side out.
That would have been a back wall setup to Marcos' right. Instead, he takes a sky hook, gives Killian a huge setup.
You're out of breath.
This is a big
11.
rally.
When you're out of
there.
breath, you have to do things like that.
Point.
Thought we'd see a timeout there, but Marcos didn't call it. You have to be in good shape to withstand some of these long rallies.
13-11. Side
Especially
out.
when you're at the age of 43.
11-13.
Good hands.
Side out.
We call that the twister, Dave. Marcos leaned to his right, and Killian just
13-11.
rips a right corner kill away from him.
Point.
That's that serve that Killian has been able to get past Marcos all game.
14-11.
Well, at least the second half. This could be it. This is game point. See how soft they're hitting this ball to the ceiling.
Side out. Oh,
Ball's broken or wet. One of the two.
broken.
That's an unfortunate thing for Marcos. I think he's going to lose the serve here. we'll see what happens.
Well, the rule is that he does lose the serve
Second
here.
timeout.
And a timeout here being called by Marcos Chavez, which is probably a good time to do it. This is the WPH Race for 8, season number 8. And Dave, looking forward to the season here. The first stop in Atlanta. We had a great time last year. We came back. The club is such, so accommodating to the players, and it helps because the owner of the club is an athlete himself, and he loves the sport of racquetball and handball, and he's a promoter of the sport. So it's good to be around those scenarios when they do happen. His name is Jason, and he's just tremendous. As Marcos Chavez comes into the booth to get some advice from my broadcast partner here. But Recreation Atlanta is the name of the facility, and they hold a lot of these top events here. They just held one of the IRT's Pro Racquetball Tour stops just a weekend ago or so, and they had a lot of success with that. And now handball this weekend. They'll do other sports throughout the year. We're in Lilburn, Georgia.
Marco's saying that Killian broke the ball after the rally was over by throwing it around. I didn't see Killian doing that, but Killian doesn't seem to be arguing.
He just lightly threw the ball to the front wall.
That's what I saw.
But Marcos is still serving, so. And it seems, Dave, there was no discussion about the ball at all. That was a great shot. Over the top, bends over it.
Shots of the match.
$12-14. Short.
This ball definitely has a different bounce than
Second
the
serve.
one that just broke.
Side out.
Not a good return from Killian, and Marcos with an air on a
14,
flop shot attempt.
12. Short. Second serve.
Killian ends it with a
Point.
left-hand kill. He trailed
First game.
8-2 in that game,
4
Dave,
minutes,
before running
gentlemen.
off 13 of the next 17 points.
Dave, we're going to say goodbye to you, but here we're going to get close and personal with Kara Mack and Marcos Chavez. This is from yesterday.
We're up close and personal with Marcos Chavez. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
No, really, how are you? Like, how are things going? What's going on with life?
Oh, life is it's good. My daughter's playing tennis. My wife's gonna do a run pretty soon. I know you guys spoke, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then yeah, just handball now. The tour's starting. I'm excited.
So who's training you more, your wife or your daughter?
Oh, my daughter keeps me running around.
Does
That's
she?
for sure. Yeah,
Still?
yeah. She's good. Tennis and then running around at the house. I'm glad she plays outside like they should be. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
So what are you holding? I mean, how many pairs of shoes do you have that you actually are selling shoes here at Handball
Yeah,
Tournament?
I got these Kobe's right here. These old Kobe.
Those are pretty
I was just
sweet.
walking by and you just happened to pull me to the side. So yeah, I think Luis Cordova might make a purchase on these.
You seem like a shoe guy.
Yeah, I love shoes.
How many pairs of shoes do you have?
I got probably over 100 pairs that look like new. So, but it's just the collections like baseball cards to me.
But shoes are a lot bigger than baseball cards. So where do you keep 100 pairs of shoes?
Oh, I had to send you a picture maybe someday. But I got I got some dresser drawers that I bought from IKEA that are really nice and they're shelves. So I have all of them like basically like behind these cabinets, and they all sit like this.
Oh, you can see them
So
all.
you can see all the shoes. So I like it. The ones I really like a lot, I kind of I keep, and the ones like this I haven't really worn, and so I usually kind of give them away, or give them to sometimes to students that are going to honestly like to college and stuff that might need a pair, or they ask me, and yeah, I'll donate them.
So do you buy a new pair of shoes every?
No, I was into collecting a lot. Lately, I've been slowing down, but yeah, I would buy like a shoe like almost every week, maybe two. Like if I liked the color and they came out with 2 different colors. So.
Are you on that Nike app where you can get like special shoes that they only sell like 10 pairs of?
Yeah,
Are you on that app?
the sneaker app.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I got that.
Okay, so you're that. You have, and then you always match them to what? Your hat or your shirt? Like, what do shoes have to match?
Nah, like I don't know. I don't have the swag like I used to. So like I'll just wear it with like something with black. Like I'm always in black. Like today I got these. I'm all blacked out today. That's not really a good style, but yeah. I don't know. Just.
So if you have 100 pairs of shoes, how many pairs of shoes does your wife have? Does she get the luxury of having an entire wall of shoes?
Oh no. Well, I actually just bought her some of these Flyknit runnings. So but she has heels. She has a lot of heels.
So she has a shoe collection too.
Yeah, a big, yeah.
I'm like breaking into your house.
You need to go. You'll love it.
You.
Yeah, you're always wearing heels. Not today, but
I'm in heels.
you're always in heels. So like, she loves that about you. You're like, you're a runner. You have style. She loves it.
I love her. I love her. You need to bring her to more tournaments.
Yeah, I should.
Your favorite place to travel of everywhere that you ever have been to with handball, where has it been?
Oh, my favorite place. You caught me. I really like going to Salt Lake. That's very fun for me to go play, and I enjoyed Portland because I don't really get there too often. Honestly.
Good pick.
Montana was really nice, like to go somewhere I've never been, and then it was during the middle of winter, and you're walking to a restaurant and you see some deer. I think they're deer, and they're like on the street area right there. So it was pretty cool, but
I hope you didn't mistake deer for buffalo or something.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, this season coming back now, and first pro tour, I'm pretty excited that's back.
So I know Nadi Alvarado Jr. must have been this person for you, but who is it now? Who do you least like to play?
Oh, now? I don't have that.
Oh, he's pulling the political. I should have
really
caught you in the middle of shoes.
I don't have that right now.
Favorite person?
Favorite person has to be. I love Sean Lennon. He's my guy, but that doesn't count. That doesn't count. But I like playing.
Who do you like to beat the most?
Fink. I like to beat Fink.
Feels good.
It's just it is what it is, but it's a fun game.
And who makes you laugh the most out there on the Race for 8 tour?
Oh, Mondo probably, especially like when we're playing at home and he's just acting silly and stuff. But yeah, we miss him this weekend.
Good to see you though.
Thank you.
That was Marcos Chavez, who had a very good first game here as he lost 15-12 to our world champion and players champion and national champion and our #1 Killian Carroll, who gets that first serve here in game number 2. That ball hits Killian, so just a replay. Fun interview there with Marcos Chavez as we got up in personal with him and Kara Mack.
Side out.
Here on ESPN 3.
0-0. Hold it. That was okay, Marcos? Okay, thank you.
Marcos is giving Killian a point. Referee saw a bad bounce, but Marcos waved him off.
Short.
That time Killian had Marcos leaning to the left.
Second serve.
Because of those great left sliders that he's been doing, and then he zips one down the right. Luckily for Marcos, it was short.
Point.
Chavez was converting those in game number 1.
1-0. Point. Two, 0. Point. Three, 0.
And really quickly, it's now
Short.
3-0 as we welcome in our World Championship finalist Martin Mulkerns into the booth here. Martin, welcome in as one of your close friends here you went to dinner with last night, Killian Carroll.
Yeah, no, he came back. I was kind of coming and going for my own game, but I think Marcos had a great start, maybe 8-2.
Yeah.
I think the ball's after bursting, is it? Oh no, it's just a funny bounce. But Killian obviously fought back after that. The next thing it was 10-9, and
yeah, and then he started acting like Killian again. He hasn't played a lot of handball, so he looks a little rusty, but he doesn't like the ball. He's trying not to be too public about it, but it's clear that he doesn't like it. I don't think any player really does. It's crazy bouncy and just kind of a weird ball.
Yeah, I suppose.
But
I probably really got stung with it yesterday. Having not played in 2 years on the actual tour, I know they would have had a similar ball, very fast and hard. But so when you sent me those ones, I just assumed this is the same one, but they're saying that this is even faster.
Yeah, it's weird. So it's the same exact ball that's been used since the history of the race for 8. It's just that it's a newer batch, so it's like when they come out new, they're always like this. But 3 months from now, they'll be back to the way it's always been. So they lose a little bit of verve. But these are new, so man, they're really bouncy.
Yeah, it's probably what I noticed with it. I think Killian might have said it before to me or to one of the other Irish players that the first few tournaments when he had started coming here regular, that he had to change his game nearly. I feel like you have to be very offensive with that ball, which whereas probably at the Worlds there at the 21 or indeed with our Irish ball, you can probably there's probably a bit more roof play, a bit more playing around. Maybe that extra shot to wait for a better opportunity, whereas here you're
side out.
If you do that, you're probably going to give them a setup.
I called the
it changes everything.
Down. He's appealing.
I thought that was good. I know Killian thought it was down as well.
One disagree. One couldn't tell. I got to stick with the call.
He's smiling. We're going to see it here.
Yeah, let's look here. It has a weird bounce. It's funny that it looks like it does hit the front wall.
I saw one yesterday. It just took a bizarre bounce as well. The only thing I would say is we were here on Wednesday or Thursday. I think there are some grooves in that front wall, like some hollows.
Yeah.
And they were like plastering over it when because we couldn't play here on Tuesday.
Oh, I see.
But so I think they were kind of trying to flatten it out a bit. But you can even see that line across the middle of the wall. If it hits there, it checks up.
But also look at the ground. You see the ground, there's that white strip. That's kind of like a caulking that's in there, which it makes it a rounded bottom of the ground. So it's kind of a weird little groove down at the corners there, and I think that could cause a ball to bounce back up.
Yeah, good shot.
But nonetheless, this crazy bouncing ball that we have here, which is the one that we used in Salt Lake City, which was nuts, I felt.
It probably plays even quicker in Salt Lake City, doesn't it? People seem to say the altitude there. I don't know about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you played Sean Lennon yesterday, and he looked like he had complete control of the ball, and that's the first time he's ever touched it. I mean,
yeah, probably.
No, he hasn't touched it. He has not even seen the ball.
The same as I think he surely deserves a replay there.
Yeah, might be obvious.
Point.
See, that's the ball I'm telling you about. It's just completely crazy.
I was saying to Dave yesterday, I don't know what Dave Fink, I don't know what you would think of it, but you see like that play there where Killian dives behind Marcos. I kind of like what the referee did, like play on. Well, maybe not in that, in other scenarios, like there was probably a replay too, but sometimes Killian's looking for, sometimes like a player might pin you to the left, you have to reach around them and you shoot. Like your natural instinct is to swing and you can like kill the ball, or you could miss. But as a referee, you're like thinking, well, if I call early here and he kills it, they're angry with me. If I don't call and he misses it, he's still looking at me and he's wondering, well, I didn't want it, but I just kind of went for it. He was in the way. Are you going to give me a replay? So I was kind of wondering, could you have a scenario where just let that play go, let them shoot, and if they a one-shot advantage, if they don't win the rally on that shot, just pull it back and do a play over. And it just makes it a lot easier for the referee and the player.
Yeah, the funny thing about that is I totally agree with that, but I can't say that I agree with it publicly. You know, like I
can't
don't
get
think
more
you can
public.
put that down on a billboard that that's what you're going to do. You just have to do it as a referee.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It wouldn't be
Like,
in the rule book, but you could do it.
yeah, you don't want to go brag about it to everybody. I know that's two-faced, but
Well, you
in
see
a
the
way, I
response
wouldn't want to. I wouldn't anybody know, but that's how I would technically call it as a ref.
Well, it's just when you do that as a ref, you'll have some players that'll come out and say, well, he took the shot. You know, you can't have your cake and eat it, basically. Whereas I think, well, you can. You know, as in
I've always eaten my cake.
Point.
I saw some serves there from Killian towards the end of that first game, you know, and it reminded me of that World Final towards the end as well. He hit a serve there towards the end of that first game.
Did I
here
call
today.
that point wrong? It's a side out.
And Marcus didn't even move. It was just incredible.
Hold on, timeout. I need to get the score right.
I don't know what's happening here.
Well, he messed up. He called a point when he should have called a side out.
Okay, so it's still 3-3.
Sorry about that, guys.
You know, sometimes when you're a ref and you can kind of get nearly stuck in the game. You're like a spectator, you're watching and you're like, oh, who was serving? But I suppose when you look, well, if the card is the right way, you'll probably know.
Our directors are on it. They were calling the score as it should have been called, so we didn't have to change anything on the scoreboard.
4-3.
Scored us 4-3 here in game number 2. First one went to Killian Carroll, but it was a sloppy game in the beginning by both. Marcos had the lead throughout, and then Killian caught up about 8-8, 9-9, something like that.
That rally there just it seems like what I was thinking yesterday. I think it hit that line somewhere near the wall. It checked up, then it bounced funny off the back wall.
Yeah,
it looked like 2 bad bounces to me. But
you don't see these pros get fooled very often.
No.
Then you have Super Ball here, and you never know what the role the ball played.
Oh,
but
great
look
shot.
at that. Killian, doesn't matter what ball it is, he can still do that.
6-3.
In fairness to him, he's having a great, you know, few seasons, few years. He's, I suppose, really since that time he first won the U.S. Nationals. Since then, he's really dominated.
7-3. Well, he won all but one stop last year,
except for Vegas, where Sean came back, phenomenal comeback. But other than that, he's won pretty much every. Well, he has won every tournament. Hasn't he?
Yeah, all but one.
Yeah,
that's it.
In 2 years, is it or?
No, I think all but 2 in 2 years. I mean, he's. It might even be all but 1 in 2 years.
Side out.
But no, he's tremendous. And there's a lot of those tournaments, as you know, and you were part of this at the Worlds, where there's a big lead put on him, and he just is able to evaporate those leads. And he gets tougher, more tough, I should say, at the end of these games, like you also said, where he all of a sudden puts like a clamp down on that serve, and he's, he just rolls balls out. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think probably as long as I know Killian, which is a long time now, like 10, 12 years, I suppose, that we would have always thought that his game is the foundation for it, I suppose, is the conditioning and the fitness. And that keeps him, that means he's never out of it, because if someone, what I feel a lot of the time is if you're at 100, if I'm at 100 with Killian, he's at 100, then we can have something like the Worlds. But if you dip into 95, 90, and he's staying at, or possibly I'm at 100 and he's at 100, I could be a few points up initially, but then if you start dipping from that at all, he doesn't change from his 100, and he just keeps going. But I think the real
20 seconds,
thing the last few years, and I've heard a lot of people commenting on, is the serve. His serve is phenomenal now. I think he's worked on that probably a lot.
I think that the serve obviously is one of the big things, and just before that was the fly kill, and before that was being able to hit balls and kill them on the run or do something with them on the run, much like the Americans will be on the run and go for kill shots like Sean Lenning. We saw one season Killian didn't have those shots, and the next season all of a sudden he was like Mondo and Luis Moreno and Sean Lenning, where you're off balance and able to hit shots. It's like he's able to even do those things.
Yeah, I think it
Side
takes
out.
time, you know, and he's spent that time here now. The few years he's developed them shots, that game, you know, regular
3-8.
tournaments on the Pro Tour. We're probably
Long ball.
we don't play as many tournaments at home, I suppose, as they do here.
Second serve.
But as you said, season after season, he's been improving, and he's really dominating now.
Side out. Eight, 3. Short.
I think that's one of those
Second
bad bounces
serve.
that you were talking about. It had that weird little popping sound on the front wall.
Even the sound of it, yeah.
But it didn't go, it went down instead of straight like his normal shots do. Marcos
Point.
wasn't missing those in game number 1.
No, but it's this is my point on it. He
9-3.
makes you play that extra shot or two that possibly against other players you don't have to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then that accumulates over
Second
time,
serve.
and when it does, Marcos. Is that a funny bounce again? I don't know. Is it just
I
me
think all of
or-
them are funny.
Side out.
Marcos is,
3,
you know, a year
9.
older. He played Killian in, I believe it was at Tucson, or was it this tournament last year? But nonetheless, I think it was this tournament last year, and he got embarrassed by Killian. But he came out with a different mindset here, and you can tell that could have been avoidable. No, gave him the, I'm going to show you what your shot's going to be, and then I'm going to take it away from you as I migrate into your shot. Wasn't directly in front of, but
No.
he's also migrating into a corner kill
3,
and on the
9.
move. So if
Yeah,
he showed it to him, but then took it away from him.
Marcos still has a straight shot down the left,
Short.
though. In my,
But he didn't want that. He wanted that right corner kill. That's his shot.
you see, this is another debate I was having yesterday. You know, fair enough if you hit that serve and you hit
Second
a revolving
serve.
door into the left corner. If you back, I understand that. You know, we've all
Mhm.
got caught with that avoidable once. But what generally happens there is a player kind of has two options. A lot of them like to go for right corner kill, and then
Mhm.
others will just, like I like a shot
Swing
where you
all the
just
way around.
pull all the way and bring it
Yeah.
back down left.
I think it's more effective that way, but
So if the other player's like, well, he could do either or, I've hit a bad serve. Now, if he stands his ground and he
Point.
gets hit with the ball, like if he doesn't back, but stays at the shoreline and it hits him, like is that unavoidable?
no.
But he took the corner.
But
That
if
is kind
you
of
back, but if you
4,
back in, you're like,
9.
sometimes you don't even have to go to that right corner. You're still going to hit him,
yeah.
especially if a straight
Short.
shot. But I understand what you mean.
Because sometimes then they'll
complete
migrate to
wrap.
the left to
Yeah.
get out of your way. They think you're going for that right corner, and then you get hit, and they're like, where
But
was-
you see some of these players sometimes back all the way back without looking. So if you're looking and you're backing back,
No, I agree with that.
I'm
I
okay
agree
with that. But some of these players are backing out, coming backwards like, you know, a big bus going backwards, and they're not even looking.
Good shot.
Point.
I think that they're the ones that would be penalized. But I do see what you're saying as well. I think
I think you're in a
sometimes
tricky
5,
situation there when you
9.
do that.
the server
Short.
is kind of interesting because a lot of these servers
Second
have
serve.
to back out. This ball's so fast that you can't really play right up there immediately. You're going to be pushed out to where Marcos is right now, no matter what happens.
Great shot.
Side out.
But what we're seeing is some of these servers are serving the ball and they're backing out, 10 feet.
No, I
or
agree.
more,
I
and
agree
they're
with the
way
back.
far back, too far back.
9-5.
But you're right. You're right about that. That complete revolving door, where you're going all the way back down the left wall.
Point.
What was that?
I thought,
I
actually, for
thought
a
he
second, I
missed.
thought it was a miss hit, but it
I-
just seems like it rolled.
Yeah, I think it's from the angle maybe.
10-5.
10-5 here in game number 2.
Short. Second serve.
What a great second serve.
Point.
What's your philosophy on that? I know Dave
I say
will
go for it.
go for that second serve.
I say
Don't
go
bother
for it.
with the 3-wall or.
I agree. I say you just go for your first serve that you normally do, or even just tighten it up and go for an ace. Crack.
Well, that's what Killian's just done there. It's great when it works out.
Yeah, but I don't see. I think players that are not pros might not be able to do it, but these guys don't, you know, they're in there and they know exactly, you know exactly how to get a ball over the line. I also think that that pressure of doing it a few times, it helps you in other aspects of the game.
11-5.
Helps you get over, you know, maybe a tight game deep. So I say always go for it. And he gets another crack there.
2 right cracks in a row. I'm very impressed the last few years with his serve.
Oh yeah.
And in there, sometimes when you're watching, you don't appreciate it fully. But there at the Worlds playing him, I felt that his serve really is putting you under pressure.
Yeah.
And his kills, then he's ruthless when it comes in. He'll finish it very well.
13-5.
It looks like he's going to finish out this game.
Oh, thought Marcos had that. Here it is, match point for Killian Carroll now at 14-5 here in the quarterfinals. If he gets this last one, he advances to the semis.
Stuck to the wall. Chance for Marcos. What a get. He'll get that as well.
And he does it. He advances. That's what he does.
Game and match.
Killian
nice
Carroll
match,
taking down Marcos Chavez. Killian knows the drill. He probably thinks that Kara's going to go onto the court to talk to him, but we're going to pull Killian off.
So he's going to play the winner of this next game now, which is Dave Fink and Luis Cordova?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. We'll have Luis Cordova and David Fink coming up next. But before we do all of that, we will catch a little brief interview with one of your closest friends, Killian Carroll. Here's Kara Mack.
First quarterfinals of this first tournament of the season. How does it feel? How do you feel going in?
Better than expected. You know, I really haven't done much match training, so it's very different, especially coming to a different ball. You know, I've only really played with myself with that ball, and to play an opponent like Marcos, you know, to try and get the hang of things real quick. I was kind of happy. I kind of stood my ground and was able to play some decent handball.
Stood your ground, and what are you going to take from this one into the semis?
Hopefully, definitely improve on it. Try a bit better to make myself more composed, and definitely try and just figure out which way the ball is actually going. I mean, I know which way the ball is going, but you know, there's a slight different spin, even if it's just off a small bit. It really affects my shot selection. So just try better on that.
Anything you're going to take away from playing Marcos in particular from this one?
Definitely, yeah. You know, I mean, just to try better defensive shots, especially when he tries to slow the game down. You know, I was really trying my hardest to keep the ball off the back wall in the ceiling shot. You know, but you really just need to. It's a funny thing because you need to not put so much spin on the ceiling shot, so you can't roll it off your hand. You need to kind of just punch it or slap it up to the ceiling to kind of keep the spin off it, because when you put a spin on the ball, it brings momentum. It just runs off the back wall. So it's a very difficult shot, but it's something that needs to be able to happen to keep that ball off the back wall.
And we see Marcos even using the fish shot, something that you don't use. Do you ever think about using those different shots?
Yeah, you know, I feel like the fish shot is an effective method for definitely keeping spin off ball, especially if you just punch it. But the problem is it's hard to control. You know, it's very inaccurate. As you can imagine, your fist isn't a flat surface.
Good luck in the semis.
All right, thanks very much.
Thanks, Killian.
Yeah, Killian, methodical dude. He knows. I mean, he's pretty analytical, right? I mean, when he analyzes the game, he's sharp.
Oh, very. You know, and I suppose that's to be expected when you're at that level. You know, he's number one for a reason. He's not. It's not a fluke. He's put a lot of thought into it. As I said earlier, he would have mentioned surely at other points that he had to change his game, and that's you have to be able to think and break it down, and as you said, methodical about it to analyze how you're going to change to adapt to the new ball and new style of play here. And you know, he's obviously done that very well, but he's very humble there, and you know, although he's dominating the last year or two, you wouldn't, you know, he'll talk to anyone here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's really a nice guy, you know.
You have to be impressed with that, because you know, we've seen champions in other generations that weren't sociable. We've seen champions in previous generations that were really cocky and into themselves, and they were sociable, but it was always leaning back to how great they were and not, the other people. Killian breaks the mold in so many different ways. You think back to Players Championship in Portland a couple years ago where the women's final goes on before the men's final. Killian Carroll elects to go up and referee the women's match. And we had to pull him out of there because we knew that he had to stretch and warm up, but he said he's fine. It doesn't matter. But he wins the Players Championship, had a great tournament, but we have to force him to come out of the referee circle where he was donating his time back to the tournament, helping out, moving equipment and stuff. I mean, he's just too much of a nice guy in a way. And but it doesn't. I think that's sort of like his anti thing. That it's something that he's been working on. Like he's methodical with the way he's answering these questions with Kara, but he's also methodical about those other things that he's aware of. I know that this other guy bragged about himself. I know that this other guy was reclusive. I know that this champion, you never see him. I'm going to do all the things opposite of this.
Yeah, I definitely, as regards the game, I think he's definitely been methodical about that and broken it down. And he's, as we mentioned before, he's improved so many aspects of his game. He was always a great junior in Ireland. We had great battles over the years, and he's obviously pushed on now to where he is. But I think as well, since I know him since he's about 11 or 12, he's always been kind of a relatively quiet kind of guy, humble, and just goes about his business. Is easy get on with. Everyone likes him, and I don't think he even does any of that stuff deliberately or thinking about it or
just
trying to be different to any of these other guys before him. I think that's just the way he is, and
it's a cool change.
It's easy to get on with someone like that.
Yeah, it's a cool change. I mean, I'm not criticizing. I'm telling you, I like it. It's good stuff. Killian Carroll advancing to the semifinals once again here in Atlanta as he takes down Marcos Chavez. Score of the first game fairly close, 15-12, and then he makes sure that Marcos can't get off that number 5 in game number 2. The next one coming up is David Fink and Luis Cordova. They've battled here as of late, and I'm sure we're going to be in store for some of that good stuff that's coming up next. So for Martin Mulkern, sorry about that, and Chris and Linda and Kara and Shay helping out with the broadcast, my name is Dave Vincent. We'll have more continued coverage of this Race for 8 season number 8, stop number 1, coming up from Atlanta, Georgia, courtesy of the World Players of Handball. Next, you stick with us.
Radius Rooftop Pool and Wet Lounge. The ultimate boutique pool experience with amazing mountain views from 25 stories above the Strip. Radius Pool at the Stratosphere.